Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to more Total Extreme Wrestling. My name is Brendan Plays. This, of course, is our All Elite Wrestling Save. Week 3 of August, building towards the upcoming All Out pay-per-view. Well, what's been happening here in our save? Obviously, a few signings that AEW has been doing in the real world, so we have to obviously match them. Now, one of them we were never really gonna do because they signed with WWE, but we've gone ahead and finally done it. That's Roosh, so he's gonna join the company. Obviously, the natural pairing with Roosh is to put him with Andrade. Probably what we're going to do. So he'll probably join Christian's coalition, and we may sort of transition Andrade away from Mr. Singles to maybe put the focus on him as a tag team with Roosh, because I don't see how Roosh is really going to succeed only having 46 popularity on his own. Now, of course, coming from Mexico, he's a big star there, 80 plus popularity. So if we ever do a Mexican sort of super show, maybe do a bit of a crossover with AAA or something like that, obviously Roosh is going to be huge for us in that role. But here in the States, yeah, look, he got a bit of popularity working with the WWE, but not that much. In the end, when he was in the WWE, he was kind of like always on main event and just kind of like maybe getting jobbed down on Raw, so I can see him wanting to be released because he was not getting used. 14 wins, 16 losses, so not really doing all that well over there. So he'll join us, as I said, probably going to join the Christian Coalition, and another good addition to the roster. Now, we're also trying to get Juice Robinson as well, trying to sign him, and Bandito, we're looking to get him on a long-term deal. So originally we had him as a loan deal, so now we want to make that more permanent. So yeah, a few different signings joining the company. It's going to be certainly interesting. At the moment, we still have CM Punk and the rest of the Elite suspended. They've got another 39 days until they come back. I do believe we can start using Malachi Black again. 12 days, actually. So a little bit more time till Malachi Black is back, and Buddy Matthews. We've sent him down to Ring of Honor, so he's working down there. And as is Adam Page and the Hardy Boys. So we've sent a few different guys to work in developmental just to kind of help Ring of Honor out a little bit, whilst we don't really have anything for them to do on our TV. But nonetheless, let's jump into this week's edition of Dynamite. It is all booked and it is ready to go. So on the pre-show, Kira Hogan and Yuka Sakazaki had a 58 rated match. Sakazaki 60, Kira Hogan 47, and Yuka picked up the win, of course. Yeah, solid match as two women who are involved in the women's tag team division kind of wrestling there. I feel like we do maybe need a little bit more new blood in the women's division. Maybe a couple more signings just to help it out a little bit wouldn't be a bad thing. Opening segment is Ken Anderson informing Bryan Danielson that Miro is out of All Out. He's not going to make it. He is gone. His injury is worse than we thought. He's not going to be available for the show. Bryan Danielson says, okay, well, I'm a fighting champion. I wanted to fight tonight, so I'm going to defend my championship right here tonight, and then we'll go from there about All Out. So 80 rated for that segment there. Nicely done. Could have been a little bit better. Anderson still isn't quite on that, main event caliber level yet in terms of delivering in his segments, but he's still hanging in there. He's doing okay. Ali took on Chris Statlander. 60 rated match. Nice match here between these two. I think it was an eye candy match. Ali defeated Chris Statlander after cheating. Now, we did keep Chris Statlander strong, so she shouldn't lose any popularity despite the loss, but Ali could end up gaining some. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to elevate Superbad a little bit, because they are one of our best women's tag teams, and we have Jamie Hayter in that group as well. I'd like to try and get her some more wins and kind of build her a little bit as well, because I'm starting to become a pretty big fan of her in the real. So in the game here, Statlander, obviously in real life she struggled with injuries, so we haven't seen a lot of her, but in our game, she's always kind of been right there. She's just not quite championship level yet, but she's always that, always in the mix. So we're trying to sort of utilize her a little bit to build some other women around her and elevate them. And I think it's a solid win there for Ali nonetheless. 60 rated match. Next segment, Samoa Joe, Christian Cage have a sit-down interview with Tony Schiavone. We got Private Party, and we have the Jurassic Express also with them as well. Just kind of making sure that things don't get physical. nothing, escalates. 86 rated, so this actually came across really, really well. So we are building towards Christian and Samoa Joe at the pay-per-view, which I'm pretty excited about. Then we're going to pivot to Samoa Joe and Andrade. So we've been building this storyline for a fair while. Ultimately, it's going to lead to Samoa Joe getting his rematch against Andrade, probably at Grand Slam. So that's kind of what the overall build has been towards. We haven't actually used Andrade on TV for about a month, which I kind of realized he's kind of been off TV for a little bit too long. But I think, once this storyline with Christian kind of wraps up, we'll get Andrade back out there. Proud and Powerful defeated the Butcher and the Blade thanks to Matt Sydal interfering to cost the Butcher and Blade the match, continuing their storyline. We talked about it last episode. We need to give FTR an opponent for the pay-per-view. We have done Proud and Powerful and FTR in a 3-way match recently, but we haven't done a direct 2-on-2 match for the belts, so I figured, why not? Proud and Powerful have got some momentum. There's already a little bit of storyline involvement there, so it kind of would make sense to continue with that. So we're giving them another win here just to build them towards the Tag Team Championship 66 for that one. In the backstage locker room, MJF confronts Proud and Powerful backstage. Pretty much says, look, you guys are not in FTR's league. If you were smart, you would stay away. 81 rated for that one. Yeah, look, we haven't been using MJF as a single main event star. We haven't been spotlighting him, but what we've been doing is trying to get the Pinnacle back on track. I like the group, I really do. I wish AEW had kind of stuck with it. So we are going to stick with it in our game. And MJF is kind of trying to get FTR and Wardlow, to be back on his side. So he's doing everything he can to make sure that, he's looking after his guys. So he's kind of going out of his way here to confront and taunt Proud and Powerful. Could obviously piss them off. Maybe not a good idea. Lance Archer destroys Wheeler Yuta in a few minutes for 70. Archer 77, Wheeler Yuta 52. These two, not enough psychology, but still 70 for this sort of caliber match is pretty good. I'll definitely take that. So we are building Lance Archer towards Keith Lee for the TNT Championship. Keith Lee was interviewed after the match about Lance Archer by Renee Paquette. So we're finally bringing her in. Now, I thought about actually doing, a big reveal for Renee, but I think it's just an interviewer. Just throw her out there. Start interviewing. Who cares? So we've done that. So she interviews Keith Lee. At least her first, interview was with the champion, right? So, nonetheless, 70 rated. So not bad. Could have been a little bit better from Keith. Not a great promo. Claudio and Penta went one-on-one for a 79 rated match. Now, of course, these guys will compete for the Trios Championships. So we start to kind of get them involved here. Claudio 77, Penta 71. Good match. 79, really good stuff. Claudio, nice performance. He's been a little underwhelming as a single, but this is much better. 77, I can definitely get on board with that. Very happy with that result. Jade and Saraya get into a heated backstage confrontation about the women's title. So Renee's trying to interview them both, trying to talk to them about it, and they go back and forth on the mic there for 66. I don't know how that match is going to go. Jade and Saraya, my God. It could be Saraya's last match, honestly. It could be one and done. Premier Athletes took on the Best Friends, and the Best Friends defeated them. 58 rated. So we are having Team Taz and the Best Friends kind of feud, and Best Friends scored the win here. We are, I guess, going to build to a Ricky Starks, Orange Cassidy match. That's going to probably be the main focus there. The Acclaim beg Sting for a match against Cabanahausen for 64. So the Acclaimed have been having to deal with Cabanahausen for a while, interrupting their matches, putting curses on them, costing them matches. So ultimately, they go into Sting's office. Please, let our misery end. Give us a match against Cabanahausen. And our main event was Bryan Danielson versus Darby Allin. Darby Allin accepted the open challenge, but Chris Jericho interrupted and it cost Darby Allin the match. No way was Jericho going to let Darby Allin win the AEW Championship. It makes it Bryan Danielson's 5th defense of the championship. 86 rated match. Really, really good. Danielson 93. Darby Allin 78. So yet again, another banger from our man Bryan Danielson. So we have been, really relying on Danielson just to have great match after great match, and I'm liking it. He's had a great match with Jay Lethal, Kyle O'Reilly, now Darby Allin. 5 defenses already, so he's been busy, which is what you want to see, and Danielson delivers yet again. So a solid match. Post-match, well, Anderson lied. Miro is back, he is here, and he destroys Danielson until security break it up. So Miro is back, and we continue the angle with Danielson and Miro there. So we couldn't allow Danielson to get to All Out scot-free. We had to make sure that Miro got some sort of offense in to kind of let everyone know that he's back, he's healthy, he's still as dominant as ever. And Anderson just lying, just let Bryan Danielson put his guard down a little bit, and that kind of fooled Danielson. So 83 for that one. Overall, an 80 rated edition of Dynamite. Not bad. Alright, taking a look at the post results of Dynamite. Well, we have got a 1.6 million viewer in total rating for Dynamite, which is ridiculous. 1.14 probably TV viewers, 1.1 million TV viewers. 1.6 so obviously our subscription, our overseas viewership inflating that. Steven Regal, aka William Regal, has officially joined the WWE, so he's done. Now, I didn't really do an angle with Regal explaining why he's leaving the company. I completely forgot. We'll have to do that on Rampage. We might have to say that, I don't know. I don't even know what we're going to do. That, Regal's going to leave the Blackpool Combat Club in the hands of Bryan Danielson. He doesn't need me anymore. I don't know. Johnny Honor has left Ring of Honor, which is a bit of a blow to us. Johnny has been, one of our main guys, our main event level talents in Ring of Honor. I mean, he's getting jobbed out a little bit. Parker defeated him, who had an 8 performance. My God. I could see why he'd wanted to leave. But, yeah, that's a bit of a loss to us. Johnny's been doing really well for us in Ring of Honor. So, I guess, as I said, we have to kind of keep sending talent to Ring of Honor to keep them there, to keep building the brand. One of those guys that could be sent there is Juice Robinson. So he officially joins AEW. I would have liked to have had him in Ring of Honor and AEW, but we didn't really have that opportunity to do that. But he'll join, and Bandito is looking to come in too. So we actually paid Juice Robinson a fair amount of money to come over. Now, of course, he's got a bit of a following in Japan. 57 pops, not too bad. And he's got 52 pop here in the States. So I don't really know what we're going to get out of Juice. I haven't seen a lot of him in real life, so I'm not really all that familiar with his work. I saw obviously a little bit when he came to Dynamite. I think he's alright. I think he's definitely got some potential. I think Bandito is certainly the bigger star out of the 2 new signings, and if you want to include Roosh in that as well, I still think Bandito is the guy. I think Bandito has got huge potential to go all the way. So we'll have to kind of get a bit of a look at Juice and see what he can do. But again, it adds another singles guy to our mid-card when we badly need it. So it's a good addition to our roster nonetheless. On to this week's edition of AEW Dark, we've got Brian Cage and Shawn Spears with a 72 rated match. That's pretty good. Brian Cage 73, Shawn Spears stepping up 56. That's better from Shawn. Look, we're trying to get some more of our top guys involved on Dark and just kind of wrestling some of the lower card guys, trying to increase the match quality. Shawn Spears, I don't really know what to do with him. I don't really want him losing too much because he's in the Pinnacle, but I feel like he should be out of the Pinnacle because he's just not on their level. So, yeah, Brian Cage gets the win there over Shawn. Good match. Ken Anderson is hyping up the newly named Big Bill. So W. Morrissey's no more. It's going to be Big Bill going forward, apparently. I think that's a better name. 58 for that one. So Anderson doing his best to convince everyone that Big Bill is going to be a thing. I still don't think it's working. Still a little concerned, but nonetheless, 58. The match was 36. So Big Bill squashes Griff Garrison. So not a great match at all. But yeah, look, Big Bill 53. There's potential there. I think the fact that it was just a squash match turned a few people off. Moving along, Thunderstorm get a promo and they talk about Divinity and their chase for the tag team championships. Look, I'm thinking about Divinity and I just don't know. I just kind of think, I'm kind of over it already. Like I thought to myself, this would be great. Big bad women's team, but maybe it's just the people themselves. I just don't care about Nyla Rose and Marina Shafir, Mercedes Martinez. I'm just not a big fan of them. But in our game, they've been okay. I shouldn't sour on them too much. I think we'll keep going with it, but Thunderstorm would probably be a better tag team champions. I don't know. Just my opinion. Nonetheless, they took on a variation of Divinity here with Martinez and Shafir. 50 run rated for the match. So we gave it 13 minutes nearly. Really wanted to see how this would go. Now, to my surprise, Marina Shafir wasn't dreadful. She performed at 40. That's pretty good for her. Martinez was the best in match, 53. Toni Storm, 49. Thunder Rosa, 48. So maybe we shouldn't give up on Divinity. That was okay. 51. I'll accept that. The Guns trash talk the Natural Pros of 45, continuing their rivalry. We finally see what will be the end of Cabana-Hausen and the Acclaim. The Acclaim win again. This time it was a no DQ match. The Acclaimed and Cabana-Hausen 55 rated. Best of match was Colt with 58. Danhausen 43. Max 54. Bowens 52. It's over. Done. The Acclaim can move on. Last match. They've won all three. So they get another chance to beat them again. Just to rub it in. So 55 of the match. It's done. The Butcher Blade and Angelico attack flying high in the locker room. 45 for that one. Not bad. Always difficult to have lower card guys in a successful beatdown angle. There's just not enough popularity to really make it any good. But to get 45 out of the guys involved, I think that's a pass mark. I'll definitely take that. Brody King defeats JD Drake in a couple of minutes. 3 minutes, in fact. 64 for the match. Brody King, 69. Pretty good. Not bad for a squash. Hype video for Wardlow, 76. Just kind of presenting him as a big deal there. Main event was Swerve and Scorpio for 66. Gave this a lot of time. 17 minutes. I thought this would be the high profile match on this card. To my surprise, was actually Cage and Spears was the better match. But Swerve, 75. That's really solid. And Scorpio 51. So that's a really good performance by Swerve, who has definitely been out of the mix for us. We just don't have anything for him at the moment. He's lost in the shuffle, but at least if we can keep getting him wins on Dark and keep involving him that way, he'll be ready to go if called upon. But look, 75, there's something there. Maybe we need to use him a little bit more. Maybe a little feud with Jay Lethal might be a good way to go. Jay Lethal's doing nothing, so... Nonetheless, 68 for this week's edition of Dark.
Alright, on to this week's edition of Rampage. On the pre-show, Ruby Soho's got a promo, hyping herself up for 49. Takeshita will take on Nakazawa, 44 there, as Takeshita gets a win. Wanted to kind of give him a win. He's been losing everything, so just throwing the kid a bone sort of thing. Well, here is the breakup. We mentioned before, we kind of forgot to break up the Blackpool Combat Club. Well, William Regal calls a Blackpool Combat Club meeting and informs them that they no longer need him and he's going home. So he's going to leave AEW, he's going to leave the Blackpool Combat Club to return back to the UK, or aka WWE, and kind of, let them do their own thing. He believes that they've outgrown him, he's overstayed his welcome, and he's achieved everything he wanted to do. Of course, the Blackpool Combat Club are the Trios champions and the World champions, so there's a lot of gold in there. Kind of makes sense, I guess, but yeah, just a rushed way just to get rid of him, because obviously we didn't plan for that. 89 for that segment. So good stuff. Yep, good start to the show. Statlander and TJ teamed up to take on Superbad, with Statlander and TJ scoring the win. Chris Statlander pinned Jamie Hayter. 67 for the match. Good stuff. Yep, decent match. Not a lot of psychology on display. So yeah, no surprise there. It wasn't eye candy, and it did its job. Good enough. Paul White and Billy Gunn. Yep, we did it. Paul White, Billy Gunn had a match. It sucked. Paul White got the win. I mean, I'm trying to make this Natural Pros and Ass Family storyline work. I wanted to see Paul White and thought, okay, if we throw them in a singles match, you know, the two leaders of the group, I guess, throw them in there, see how they go. It might be decent, might boost this storyline. I was wrong. It was terrible. 34. So I think, I don't know. Like, I think we've got to get rid of the Natural Pros. They suck. Paul White shouldn't be wrestling anymore. He clearly can't do it. But yeah, I mean, at least we'll do a trios match and we'll end it, and at least, you know, the Ass family will get something out of it, surely. Moving along, we had a hype video for Juice Robinson. So we're bringing him into AEW, and instead of just throwing him out there and expecting everyone to know who the hell he is, we are going to at least do some hype videos for a few weeks and build up some anticipation. Britt Baker scored a quick win over Diamante, 66 rated, eye candy match. Just threw this in there because we needed another decent little match on the card, because I knew the Paul White match was going to suck, so we didn't want that to be one of the rating, a match that would affect our rating, I guess. So we threw this one in there. Plus, we haven't really used Britt Baker all that much since she's been out of the women's championship scene, so good to get her out there and get her a win. Taz talks about how much he hates Orange Cassidy. He could talk all day about that. 56 for that one. Decent. I think Taz could probably do better than that, to be fair. And our main event, one last match for the Blackpool Combat Club and William Regal. So kind of like a swan song, goodbye sort of scenario. They took on a makeshift team of Jay Lethal and the Men of the Year, 74. So I wanted to see if Jay Lethal would kind of suit the Men of the Year. I could see that being an okay pairing. In Men of the Year, it probably would be beneficial if they had a trio kind of going on. I think even having Big Bill involved with them wouldn't be a bad thing to form a trio, and that way you could at least hide Big Bill. Anyway, 74 for the match. It was okay. Moxley 93, Castagnoli 78, Kingston 77. Good. Much better from Kingston too. And Lethal 78 was the best in his team. Page 62, Scorpio Sky, a bit of a letdown of 50. So 74 for the match. Not a lot really happening on this episode of Rampage. Just kind of, yeah, a little bit of a throwaway. Just kind of last kind of dance, I suppose, for the Blackpool Combat Club. 72 for the show, losing us popularity. So that's a bit of an L. Alright, post results for this week's edition of Rampage and Dynamite and other shows. Before we get there, the WWE have disbanded Judgment Day. So that big stable is no more. Yeah, interesting. I think Judgment Day has been good, but I mean, once Edge left, it kind of was ruined in my opinion. ITV3 is not happy with the quality of Rampage, so that's a bit of a concern for us. We can't afford to have too many more bad shows because we may get booted off the network, and that's disastrous. Kenta's also gone from Ring of Honor, so he had a bit of a stint there, and he's gone. So that's a bit of a loss. You know, Kenta was good, averaging, you know, around 50, high 50s in his matches, so he's going to go and work for 0-1 instead. And obviously, yeah, Regal's gone. He'll be leaving very soon. We mentioned Johnny Honor. Nyla Rose also signed a paper appearance deal with Shine, which is fine. That's not going to affect her because she's still got a written contract with us. So she'll still be sticking around for the foreseeable future. Yeah, well, look, we're heading into All Out. 14 days to go. Storyline-wise, we've got some good ones. Definitely, I'm liking what we're seeing with Miro and Danielson. Jericho and Darby's been a lot better than you probably would expect. New storyline with FTR and Proud and Powerful. I think that's going to be a really good match. Keith Lee and Archer should be solid. But obviously, a couple of storylines that are pretty weak. Natural Pros, Ass Family's kind of sucking pretty badly. The Acclaimed and Cabana House, and I think that's done. We've had that. So we can end that one. That's finished. The Trios Championships will obviously Blackpool Combat Club. They'll have a big match with Death Triangle. So that's going to be a pretty good match up there. I wouldn't mind doing a best of series with them as well. Not a best of 7. I really hate best of 7s because it's too long. But a best of 3 or maybe a best of 5 is about the max that I would ever probably do. But yeah, best of 3 may not be a bad thing, and the winners obviously win the championships. Yeah, so that would be interesting. But yeah, look, so nonetheless, we are obviously, as I said, 2 weeks away from All Out. Not too much to report in terms of popularity progression. We've had a few lower card guys kind of move up the ranks a little bit because we've been able to put a few over. Like for example, Ali. She defeated Chris Statlander and gained up to 40. I think she was 35 pops. She's now 42, so she gained a lot of popularity from that, which is good because obviously our women are the big concern. And if we can kind of help elevate a few of them, that would be great, especially for our women's tag team division, which I feel like is a little forgotten about in the moment. I will be fair to myself. I think, I've been focusing on a few other different areas, and this Divinity and Thunderstorm story has been a little bit weak. So I think we need to kind of, get this going again. I like TJ. That was a good tag team. I think Divinity has kind of, been a little bit... It's hard to kind of book dominant heels all the time because, you have to have them always win, and it's hard, whereas you've got underdog baby faces, much easier to book. So yeah, it's a little bit challenging, but we'll try and get the women's tag division up and running again. I think we need another 2 teams. That would be really helpful. So we'll have to try and see if we can maybe sign a couple teams or make a few new ones just to flesh out the division a little bit. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this edition of Total Extreme Wrestling. If you enjoyed it, leave a like on it and subscribe to see more All Outs coming soon. Stay with us until then. Thanks, guys.